Jingle Freud, jingle slips, jingle jingle Freudian slips.
I like that one. Okay.
Thanks.
Hi, Ollie.
Hey, Danny.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you? How are you on this fine California winter day?
This is very sunny California winter day.
You're okay. The sun just came out for us, but it's been freaking cold.
Oh,
It's been I think yesterday was 49.
oh, this is genuinely surprising. I thought that
Yeah.
you were setting up a joke. You have a season up in the north.
Not all the time, and also not compared to anywhere else that actually has seasons. But I will say, clients and other people I ran into yesterday. I don't know if this is a dad joke everyone says that they somehow know about, but I had at least 4 people yesterday tell me that they don't pay California property taxes for this. And I thought it was hilarious the first time I heard it, and then I heard it 3 more times, and I'm like, was this posted somewhere that I missed? But it's hilarious. I'm like, oh yeah, bitches, absolutely.
Yeah. Here, it has managed to stay high 70s.
Well, yeah, Southern California is its own
Yeah.
crazy
Yeah, down
place.
here it's beach weather. This is an accessory because of the AC in my office. I don't need this going outside.
Hot take. I grew up in the Bay, so I get you have family here, you grow up here, you have ties here.
Mhm.
I'm not saying everyone has to love LA. I find LA very overwhelming. But in general, the Northern California versus Southern California debate is you're going to tell me that you think anything beats Laguna Beach? I don't think it's real. Or Santa Barbara, San Diego. It's there's some cute places up here, don't get me wrong. But people that are oh, Northern California all day versus Southern California, I'm I think that's just a turf war. I think it's just you're from the Bay. But that can't be real. No one thinks that up here can be better than the beach towns where it's 70 and up all fucking year long.
It is pretty cool here. I have a relationship with LA, Los Angeles is so big that when you say LA, obviously people have an idea. They think the city, freaking concrete jungle, big ass buildings, homeless people all over the place. But beyond that, there is just a suburb. There is just neighborhoods, and I do like it. I would appreciate a lot more nature, and I think that's what I picture when I think of NorCal.
Mm.
And so I think that's really what you guys have on top of us. Thankfully, down here is we're 30 minutes away from almost any biome you can think of.
Which I
And
think is similar here, to be
okay,
honest.
so
But
yeah,
I get what you're saying. And I love it up here. I
Mhm.
just, the people that are clearly it's better than Northern California or than Southern California, I'm that's an interesting take.
I think we or other uninitiated might say that because outside of these small little pockets, LA kind of does feel like a little bit of a cesspool. You can never park anywhere.
Yeah, LA itself I couldn't handle. My sister
Yeah.
went to college there. I visited enough. No, thank you.
Yeah. There is a lot of hype that I think is more nostalgic than earned today. So I don't know.
Great food though.
Very good food. Yeah. We
Such
do have
good,
really, really good food.
such good food. I've
Yeah.
never had better cheese than out of a man's trunk in LA. In the Pinata district.
Of
Oh,
all things to get out of someone's truck, you
yeah.
get cheese.
Yeah. It's just in
Okay.
a bucket of water. It was the best cheese I've ever fucking had.
Okay. All
It's
right.
really good.
To each their own, I guess. Well, hello, everyone. We're Freudian Slips. This is the place where we get to talk about the shrinks, kinks, and things of the mental health field. And today I wanted to make a small little turn. So I can't remember if it was the last episode or the episode before that, but if you've been listening to us long enough, you obviously know that Ollie and I work in private practice. We work for ourselves. We run our own business. And so our life as therapists is very different than what I think is the majority of other therapists. So a lot of other therapists, they tend to work for clinics, agencies, hospitals, this company setting. And over the holidays, we're right smack in the middle of holiday season. Halloween's over, Thanksgiving just passed. Now we're prepping for Christmas and New Year's. We were talking about just how we want to scale back over the holidays, how Ollie and I want to take a little bit of a break, be kinder to ourselves. After we had that conversation, I kind of checked us, and because I do happen to have quite a few friends that work on the more company side, and the holidays don't exactly bring up a great feeling for them. And so today I kind of wanted to talk about, if you are a client or if you're someone who gets therapy, hopefully today's episode will help you understand a little bit more what your therapist might be going through during a time like this. And if you are a mental health clinician or if you're someone looking to become a therapist, this might actually be helpful in helping you decide what route you want to take. Just some things you're going to have to think about if you go down the route of company work.
Hmm.
So, today we're going to be talking about how therapists who work in clinics, agencies, and hospitals handle the holidays while still meeting quotas and maintaining their work benefits.
Danny, I'm glad that you brought this one up because I don't know if I've seen tons of little like different people doing it that are
Mhm.
either therapists themselves, that's like them like kind of like stretching and it's like getting ready to like meet with, five more clients than normal the
Yeah.
Monday after Thanksgiving. Or it's like from clients that are like these funny ones of that say, little things like can't wait to tell my therapist about this next week or like emergency session. And I think those things are funny and they're cute, but like they're very real. Everyone I've seen so far this weekend today, like Thanksgiving and just seeing family has been a hot topic. And it's not always super heavy, but like I do think sometimes you forget that it's like, oh yeah, wait a minute. We're the therapists that
Mhm.
are on the other end of that have to like be able to hold all of that for people, even though we are also people that probably dealt with all of our own shit
Yeah.
at Thanksgiving or family stuff and so it's like, yeah, sometimes I forget that it's like, oh haha. And then I'm like, oh wait, that's me.
Yeah. So I do want to be very respectful with today's conversation. I think we're not exactly talking from our own personal experience, but we did do a lot of research. And so we hope that today is really just a kind of like, hey, friends, cousins in the mental health field, we see you and we hope that you guys are doing all right. So for many people, the holidays bring a mix of joy, stress, grief, pressure. And for therapists, I think it's all of that plus a very unique set of workplace demands. So, a lot of therapists work for community mental health agencies, outpatient clinics, hospitals, and in many of these environments, the therapists are required to meet a billable hour quota. I don't think that that is news, or I don't think that that is like a novel, controversial thing. It makes total sense. Just to kind of give you guys a little bit of understanding of what a quota might look like for a therapist who works for a company, is I actually looked at an article for this, and this article was called, published back in 2023, Impact of Productivity Standards on Psychotherapy. Yeah, this article says that therapists are required to deliver roughly for 7,200 minutes a month in direct client contact, roughly averaging about 6 to 7 hours a day of face to face time. So, what this means is that when the holiday season rolls around, when people are traveling, taking time off, or just trying to survive the fucking winter, the therapist, on the other hand, is juggling more than just like seasonal emotional load. They're actually having to do a lot more math in their head. Taking a quick pause. Does that make sense? Like that quota doesn't change because the holidays come around.
Yeah. And what I think is crazy too, Danny, is two things I thought of while you said that is
Mm.
one, and we've talked about how in our private practices and in general, like a therapist full day doesn't necessarily mean like you'd see eight people. Like sometimes you
Exactly.
see more than eight people, sometimes you see less, but like in general, that wouldn't be considered quote unquote full time because it's like
Hmm.
that's eight, well, maybe not consecutive, but that's 8 hours of talking to people a day.
Yeah.
Like that can be way too much for a lot of therapists. But what I find interesting is like a lot of companies, or even like at first when I would like interview for some or things seemed like they could be a good fit, and it's like, why not try? Like they do expect that. And when you even would be like, oh, like that's okay, like that just might be like too big of a workload for me, or
Yeah.
it's like I was met multiple times and not even just in interviews, just in passing, like talking to people that maybe work for agencies or clinics like that. Like I don't know if it's because they're not therapists, but they're like, well, like that's a typical work day.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, it's not. Cause you also want us to do all the paperwork and all the notes and all and it's like, excuse me? Like, no, that's not a typical work day. So first of all, that expectation I think is insane. Like just hearing that many minutes sounds scary. I'm sure even if I do more than that, I don't know. Just knowing that it's like you have to do this much a month freaks me out. The other thing I don't think some people consider is let's say you have someone on your schedule, like you're supposed to see them and
Hmm.
then they don't show up and then you don't meet your quota. None of that's
Hmm.
technically on you. I don't think this is everywhere, but I know there are some places that at the end of the month, they will hold it against you that it's like, well, you didn't meet your quota.
Right.
And even if you're like, well, wait a minute, I could not have. Sometimes, even if it's like, okay, we technically, like, it's not like they'll fire you for it. I've seen places that are like, if you don't get X amount of things like logged 100% done, you don't get the benefits. So, like, in
Mhm.
order to keep benefits month to month, you need to perform a certain way. And even if that
Exactly.
stuff is outside of your control, your benefits can get taken away. And it's like that would scare the crap out of me. So sorry, those were just the two kind of add-ons I had to what you said. Cause yeah, then also holidays don't get taken into account. Or
Mhm.
when schools now have like ski weeks in October or in like school stuff is different, which means families probably aren't around, whatever. None of that is taken into account. They view like every month and every week as like this is what's expected of you every week.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a small little nuance to that, and I'm not saying that I even really like it. We'll get into that in a hot second.
Mhm.
But yeah, everything that you just said is perfect. That's exactly what we're talking about. Like I said, I don't think it's novel or controversial that someone should have to meet a certain hour or a certain, amount of time of work. I mean, you find that in most jobs everywhere. You clock in, it's a 9 to 5. You're here, you're expected to do this many hours. That's not what we're complaining about. What we're acknowledging is exactly what you said, that what is considered to be a part of their quota is the face to face time, the time that they're actually with a client. And oftentimes, I've heard this from a few therapists, is that if we just said 6 to 7 hours, right? And so immediately you might think, okay, well, 7 clients a day, right? Whatever. No, that's actually not the case. If a client is 45 minutes, well, then you only did 45 minutes. So you have to then come up with an extra 15 minutes somewhere else. And if you do that 7 times, then that's an extra, like, what? 2 clients? That's actually 8 clients to get the 6, 7 hours of work. You have to actually do 8, 9 clients. And like Ollie was saying, this does not account for all of the other stuff that we will get into in a second. But just to kind of give y'all a little better of an understanding, is that it's not as cut and dry as you might think. Insurances are constantly trying to find any excuse to not pay, to not validate a claim, to kick back or claw back or whatever. And that's what they have to deal with. So
Ugh.
the part that most people don't see is that if your therapist is in one of these systems, you might spend the holidays hoping clients will show up. So it's not because you don't want your client to rest, it's because that you actually need the session to meet your quota and thus maintain your benefits and job security. Like Ollie was saying, a lot of times if you don't meet your hours over time, then they'll just take it out of your sick time. They'll take it out of your vacation time. And if there's nothing left, well, then, hey, we're going to have to take away your benefits. Oh, you still not meeting it? Okay, now we're just going to have to move you to hourly. So you're not going to have your salary. So now your pay is less consistent. There's a lot of stuff that I think really kind of builds or promotes this internal conflict in a therapist. So imagine this. All these things are probably going on in a therapist's head. I want my clients to take care of themselves, but I also need them to come to session. I don't want to reschedule my own family things, but I have to make time for this family to come in because this is the only time that they have available. I am supporting everyone else's holiday stress, but at the same time, I just kind of have to, grin and bear my own. And therapists aren't immune to this holiday grief. We have family tensions, we have financial strains, we have burnout. And many of us are holding all of that while trying to maintain a caseload and give ethical, grounded care. Research tells us that this leads to almost like a double burden. So, mental health workers
Yeah.
often experience compassion fatigue, high rates of burnout, and a decreased capacity for self care. They just don't have the luxury to do it. I spoke to one person and they said that they were back to work Christmas morning because they had to meet their hours before the end of the month.
My cousin didn't come to Thanksgiving because she was on call at the prison.
Yeah, that's great.
For what I think talking about this gives me so much anxiety, Danny, because it just like the more you say, the more I'm like, honestly, my goal in life is to where I can live so far underneath my means that I just do this as a part-time thing
Yeah.
because I love it. And because I have so much fun. Like when people like I overwork now, but it's because when someone's like, "Oh, Ollie, can you fit me in on Tuesday?" I'm like, "All right, in my one free hour, you bet I can." Because like that's how much I love seeing my caseload that I have selected. But I
Yeah.
could not imagine the stress and pressure if you felt like you're hardly making ends meet each month and these are the expectations of you, I don't think I'd do it. I
Yeah.
genuinely think I'd find something else because it's quite it's stressful to do that at any job, but I mean, when your 10 AM tells you their dog just died, and then your 11 AM spouse had an aneurysm, and you're by the end of the day, you're like, "I'm sorry, I'm hardly making ends meet, and I need to have the capacity for this all day? No, thank you."
Mhm. And now you have to spend another 2 hours writing your notes, which are not just gonna be simple DAP or SOAP notes. They have to include all this stuff because the insurance that you're sending the claims to is also trying to understand why you put a 90837 instead of 908, what is it? It's a 35 or
4,
whatever the
5,
4
whatever stupid
whatever the fuck the 45-minute.
assholes.
Yeah, they're like, we don't think that justifies the extra
I
times."
hate them. I
That's freaking
hate them.
crazy.
And then, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm gonna get bombarded by emails from my company that maybe has some dumbass, like, notes need to be done by the end of the day policy." And it's like, "Bitch, I just saw someone at 8 PM. I wanna eat dinner. I no, that note will get done tomorrow."
Yeah.
Like, and then, like you said, it's these crazy excessive no, I'm I'm done. But what's the next point, Danny?
So, here is I'm gonna give this next segment very begrudgingly because I don't really necessarily like that we have to do this, but at the same time, it's something, whatever.
What do we have to do?
What I think is important to talk about is what can be done. How do therapists actually handle the balancing act? So, what are a few strategies that many of them have to do behind the scenes to prepare for the holidays? I do think, as much as I hate needing to have this conversation, like, well, the system's fucked up, so here's some things you could do to get ahead of it. The system's fucked up, and so here's some things that you can do to get ahead of it. Because if this is the route that you're going, because again, private practice, as we've talked about before, almost ad nauseum at this point, is a beast. It's its own thing. I'm not saying that, hey, working for a company sucks. You should join us. No, we've said this before. 2025 has been one of the hardest years for private practice therapists.
Yeah.
This is the year where I've seen the most people just close up shop. And so we have our own struggles. If this is where you want to take your career, these are some things that you might have to think about. And so I have fucking five, I don't
Wait, I
know.
have one that actually might be, like, kind of okay.
Cool.
Or that doesn't seem as sad. Some places I know have, like, holiday policies, or I would just, like, look at the paperwork or talk to, like, whoever the manager is, because I know some are like, "Hey, these are, like, the major holidays we work every year," or whatever, or, like, day after kind of a thing, and it's like you are required to work X amount of them, and so,
Yeah,
like, maybe if you are able to look ahead of time in the year and, like, prioritize the ones that you know you want to have off, then, like, that is technically a strategy that could be helpful
cool. And
for
if it helps
future
y'all, it
planning.
helps y'all. Again, I feel really weird doing this part, but I do think it's important because
We
it's
could
not going to
just
stop
light the
people from joining the
patriarchy
company.
on fire. If we shut down every institution that's doing this to people, well, never mind, because then there'd be a lot of community institutions that would not exist.
Yeah,
I, yeah, we can light everything on fire.
maybe
Just kidding.
next year.
Don't light anything on fire.
Cool. So number two, I guess technically, number two is planning way ahead.
Hmm,
All right, so
that was
therapists,
basically mine.
yeah, therapists often begin scheduling proactively before the holidays. You can reach out to clients to book sessions, offer alternative times, or encourage continuity before things get hectic. I do like this just as a general practice. If you either you've been in practice for a couple of years, you kind of understand the ebbs and flows of your clientele, or you understand how the holidays work. I do think it's a smart thing to. I think sometimes when I speak to a lot of clinicians, they're very set on their schedule for their lifestyle in the present, that sometimes they don't think about, okay, well, the holidays are coming around. I know you want to work this amount or this schedule works for you, but you do have to think about what happens then.
Mhm.
So please plan for this stuff to happen. If you are a young clinician or someone thinking about going into company work, put this on your schedule. I always like to put a few more on my caseload just for buffers like these lull times.
Wait, can I speak to number 2?
Yeah.
Okay, I like number 2 just because, and again, this is not a clinical study, and there are some people that I think Maybe it's more people that run like group practices that seem almost like incredibly organized and on top of it. But I think
Yeah.
I mentioned this to you, Danny. Even when I was first starting and I was trying to figure out how to do taxes, I talked to like 17 or 12, I don't know, double digits amount of therapists that were all like, ha ha ha, I still haven't really figured that out. I just paid a late fee. And I'm like, you've been doing this for like 25 years. And they're like, whatever. And so, I mean, in general, I think a lot of the therapists, at least that I've met and know and love, are just a little like, we picked this profession as it's like, I wouldn't call it an alternative career, but it is not your stereotypical 9 to 5. And if you're not, it's just a little different, I think, than like necessarily the path most traveled. Is that a
Mhm.
phrase? And
Yep.
so I do think that this is a good one because I really do believe more often than not, therapists are the people that are like, I didn't really think about next month. Or like, oh, you're right. It does slow down that time. Like, maybe I shouldn't have taken all those vacations earlier. I should have planned it for when my practice gets a little slower. And so
Yeah.
I do hear that kind of stuff a lot from therapists. So I think
Mhm.
this one's good, whether it's in terms of like during the holiday season or I don't know, our taxes. I think we should all just think a little bit more ahead of time, people. I'm
Yep.
rooting for us as a group.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you again for pulling us out of this with a little bit more positivity. Yeah. This does feel a little bit, I just feel so uncomfortable. A lot of this just feels like blaming the victim, and that's not what we're doing. It's just like,
No, but we are. Yeah, what do I always like to say I'm cautiously optimistic. You and me, we're existential. The reality is this is the job we've picked, and if you work for these systems that are fucked, that's where we are. So it's like, oh, what are we gonna do? Just bitch and pretend like it doesn't exist and be like, this shouldn't be the case. It's like, absolutely, it shouldn't be the case. And while it is the case, here are some things we can try.
thank you. Again, this is why I love you. You immediately bring me out. That is so true. We are existential therapists. So fuck it. Let's go. All right. Number 3 is be flexible. And I actually do like this one. Now I'm fired up. So sometimes more than you want to admit. During the busy season or when cancellations rise, therapists may offer early morning sessions, lunch hour, or even evening sessions. Some may even expand telehealth or short check ins to accommodate clients and kind of maintain quotas. Again, going back to a point that we made earlier, is a lot of quotas are determined by minutes, not by sessions. And so having short little check-ins in the long run, smashing 3 or 4 short little check-ins in one period of time can actually help you instead of trying to get that one client to stay on the call for another 10 minutes because you're like, Jesus, you got nothing else. But yeah, this one really does kind of take me back to a lot of younger clinicians that I talk to, where they really want, what attracts them to a job like this is the ability to have a schedule, especially if you're going into this part of the field. You really have to, like, I'm sorry, you have to think about when your clients want to come in. During these times, you might have to move to have some earlier sessions. You might have to be okay with having some later sessions. Like Ollie said a couple of minutes ago, you shove one in a lunch hour. It's be flexible. Yeah, it is what it is. I don't know if your benefits are worth you dying on this hill.
Yeah, they're definitely not.
Yeah. Number
Ugh.
4,
Yeah, number 4.
get creative with care structure. So some therapists will offer group sessions, shorter visits, flexible formats, so the clients can access care without the usual commitment. So I can't come to this session, or I can't. I'm going to be out of town. I can't, come inside. This is what I was talking about a minute ago. Some people like to switch over to virtual to help accommodate for that.
Ooh, that's a good one. I like the flexible one, Danny, because I think, like we've talked about before, there are people that we have met or we have seen in some of these therapist forums that are like, I want to see 10 people a week. I want to make full time salary.
Yeah.
Make it happen, world. And I think so much can be out of your control when you work for some of these companies that's like, who knows? Maybe like you put up a Psychology Today profile if you can. I don't know if it's legal, but I think some try to be like, you can't have a private practice and have this job. I think that's illegal though. I don't know. Don't ask me. I'm not a lawyer or legal professional.
That's
But
interesting.
I like you can always try and like build a very, very, very small private practice on the side. Maybe you never want to do that, but if like you can get paid more from seeing 2 people a month randomly, you're like, because also you're probably making not a whole lot at a clinic or a company or whatever. So it's like maybe that's a way you want to be flexible. Maybe it's working hours that you don't aren't necessarily ideal for you, but like for right now in your life is what you kind of have to do. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I think it's just like thinking outside of the box And especially in terms of working at some of these places that they might tell you so much of how you have to operate, like really thinking about like, okay, well, what is in my control and
For sure.
how can I be flexible with that?
Yeah. Yeah. Very good one.
Thank you.
Number four, and this one I actually do have a little bit of personal experience with. This might be a good opportunity for you to lean on colleagues and a team for support. So, in agencies and hospital settings, therapists often rotate coverage. They share crisis duties or they coordinate schedules so that no one clinician needs to carry the full burden. And it helps everyone kind of stay afloat. So, for example, if you are going on, and again, this was a very unique example. I don't know if this is applicable for everyone, but if it is, I do think it'd be a nice idea. I've had a couple of my friends, really good friends, who work on the clinic, who work on the company side, and they needed to go on vacation, but their clients still need to be seen. And so I've had the honor of being a substitute therapist, of just kind of stepping in, doing a little bit of contract work. It helps me. They were able to take a vacation. Technically, their hours are still being met because their clients are being seen. Their notes get brought in. And so building a team, which is why I think networking is still important, even if you are in company and technically like you don't have to go looking for your clients. I still think that building a team of people who really care about the field is important so that there could be opportunities where we can help each other out.
Oh, I love that.
Hmm.
Yeah, you need a what do they say when it comes to kids? Like it takes a village. Like holy
Yeah.
shit. I don't know if therapy is the same way. Like it can be so isolating and like even you just mentioning Danny that I never even thought about when people take vacations at these places like then
Hmm.
that your quotas still have to be
Yep.
ugh, ugh,
Mhm.
so gross. It
Yeah.
makes me so mad.
And again, like advocating for the client, it's not their fault. They still
No.
need care. They still need to be seen. I mean, even though I don't think that you and I have ever had to actually dip into this, but this is another interesting topic we could cover later, like professional wills and stuff.
Oh yeah.
But like, for example, if I'm going on vacation, I usually let you know and say, hey, I'm going to be out for a couple of weeks. I think so and so might want something, and if they do, I'll let you know so that you can see them, and vice versa. If you're gonna go out for a couple weeks, you usually let me know
And
and
some of
let
my
me
people
know.
have yo number.
Yeah, and so we've never had to do that for each other, but that's something that I think is a little bit more common on our side of the fence
Yeah.
of the field. That if it is available on your side, on the company side, let's maybe use it.
Yeah.
Make some friends, right? Make some real friends that know what they're doing so that you can take a vacation and share the load.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Last one is number six, try and practice self care and boundaries when possible. This feels like such a no shit thing to say, but we know from research that workload, admin tasks, productivity demands are a major contributor to burnout. For many of us, what this means is that I think we really need to practice what we preach. We really need to be intentional about our own rest, our supervision, our peer support, and our own therapy. If this is the line of work for you, I think just kind of yelling in protest isn't going to help. I think what really kind of separates someone who's actually able to thrive in a business like this or just in a career like this is someone who's actually able to practice their own mental health through all of these things.
I'm trying really hard to find the therapist burnout rate because isn't it? It's something crazy. Teachers is like, I believe 50% of teachers are not going to be teachers past like the 5 year mark. It's something like that.
That's,
I'm,
yeah, I
I'm,
actually, sidebar conversation really quick.
yeah.
Did I ever tell you about the teacher in fifth grade that we made quit?
No,
By we, I mean very loosely me. I was not involved. I was always really a nice kid.
no,
But
you're too nice.
yeah, this
Unless she
woman,
just hated brown young men.
probably she was white. No, this woman, great woman, she was, bless her, a veteran. A veteran. And you know what
Oh,
she did? Do you know what she did when she was serving our country?
she was combat.
No.
Oh.
Cooler, but close.
I thought you meant the position was cooler. And I'm like, what the fuck is a cooler?
Yeah.
I don't know.
She was the pilot or like on that team. You know the planes that come in and refuel other planes
What?
while they're in the air?
She did that?
She did that.
Whoa.
And a bunch of fifth graders were too much for her. She said, fuck this. Send me back to fucking Iraq.
I'm
Screw
not
these
gonna
kids.
lie, I get it. I really do get it. Because at least when she's doing that, she's like, this is purposeful. She's in that room dealing with kids that are fucking annoying. And she's like, I don't give a shit. And your guys' fifth grade education means nothing. So, like, whatever. This isn't worth my time.
Yeah. Yeah, poor woman. If you're out there, I hope you're doing well because she was. I have another story that we'll save for another time, but she just disappeared. She's
I mean, have you
gone.
tried to find her? She's like literally poof gone.
Yeah, gone.
Maybe
She's
she
like,
doesn't
okay,
want to be found.
yep, yeah. So I hope you're doing good. Anyways,
Interesting pivot, though. Good for her that she's like, maybe I'll try this, and did not take long for her to be like, that was a silly idea.
yeah,
Never
yeah.
mind. Although it is funny, fifth grade, I think if you had to teach elementary school, fifth grade seems like a good sweet spot.
I liked it. I liked it. It was definitely my cap.
Was fifth graders?
Yeah, kindergarten best. There is
What?
nothing better. There is absolutely nothing better than walking into a multi-purpose room and having a whole classroom of kindergartners just explode in excitement. They're just like, Mr. Nava, Mr. And the cherry on top is having the next row of kindergartners melt down in disappointment because they know that you're not subbing for them. There is no more like pure love
You're crazy.
than
I told you
kindergarten.
I had to run that kindergarten group once a freaking week, and I threw up every time. Every time. Those kids were adorable. They drew me pictures. They were laughing and shrieking the whole time. They were so happy. It was 45 minutes. It was a 45-minute group. I threw up every time.
All day,
No,
all day.
0%. Give me my
Bring
special ed
me,
kids. I love
bring me the
special ed.
children.
It's where I belong. I love them. All my sped kiddos. Oh my God, you're crazy.
Yeah, it was the best.
Oh my God.
It was the best.
The continuation high school is where I thrived.
Yeah, no. Okay.
I
Yeah,
loved
we're
it.
opposite. This is why we're an amazing team. Okay, cool.
Yin to my yang. What is next?
Yeah, back on topic. So it's very important. I want to be extremely clear in case you haven't noticed throughout this whole part. I'm whatever. While the individual therapists do their best, I truly believe that it's the system that's the root of the problem. So there's some things that y'all, I think is important for you to know. We have a lot of companies run on productivity based models. They measure clinicians by hours billed rather than outcomes. So this is very common in a lot of community based agencies and clinics. But these models don't always account for the real work that therapists do. This is something that we said at the top of the episode. Outside of face to face clinical hours, we also have to do documentation. We have to prep for our clients. I come in an hour, and I might be a little bit excessive. I come in an hour before my shift every single day so I can look over my notes, prepare my exercises, and just be ready. But if you're on the company side, odds are you're also doing insurance paperwork. You have to go to meetings. There's a lot of collateral contacts or phone calls that you have to make, all of which are often going unpaid or undervalued in time that even if you can bill it, it's for pennies. This is another thing that contributes to the burnout. It threatens care quality and can pressure therapists into prioritizing quantity over quality in their own work. And therefore, many therapists quietly resent this system that demands productivity even while expecting emotional labor, empathy, and consistency. So, to kind of close out, what I really want to say about this is if you are a clinician in the mental health field working for a company or an agency type, I want to say is that our hearts go out to you during the holidays. I hope that you guys are doing well. And I hope that you guys are able to take care of yourselves, your family, support yourself through the holidays. And if nothing else, just say that, hey, we see you. Again, I think me and Ollie really kind of acknowledge the privilege that we have, even though we have our own struggles on the private practice end.
I wouldn't trade that for these companies any day of the week.
Yeah, yeah. So y'all really like boots on the ground
Yeah.
sometimes taking on. We also get to pick a lot of the clients that we see where oftentimes for these companies it's just whatever walks through the door. So you guys are fucking amazing. If you are a client during the holidays and you're listening to this episode, what I really want to invite you to do is on your next therapy session, especially during the holiday, is number one, if mental health is a practice, then keep the practice going throughout the holidays. Unless we're coming together, therapist and client, to say, hey, we're both going on vacation, this and that. And obviously, I'm not telling you to not take care of yourself, not rest, not take a break. But some people just drop off because, fun stuff happen or little things just pop up here and there. They have some time off, and so they're more likely to be fluid with their own schedule. Your therapist, who genuinely cares about you and wants to see you get healthy and live an amazing life might be struggling, might be having a really rough time. And so if you can hold your sessions, hold them. Go. Keep working. Keep getting better. And at the very least, say thank you.
Hmm.
Just let them know that you understand the struggle that they're going through, what it takes to be available to you guys. And yeah, maybe just give them a little appreciation. I think that might go a long way.
I found a sad fact.
What's up?
So, okay, according to the National Institutes of Health, they did some giant survey thing and it tended, or it's like approximately, so take it with a grain of salt. But I find it interesting. So it says 25% of therapists leave the field after 1 year of being licensed, which I find more surprising because if it was like they leave like, I think the stat is also crazy high, like, after grad school,
Mhm.
it's like 60 it's well over 50%. We've talked about this in an episode, but don't ever even get their license. That
Yeah,
I can understand a little bit more. I still think it's egregious, and I think a lot of it is because of the cost and how much they don't get paid and just how long and grueling grad school is for
that
this
test is hard.
profession. But I get it because sometimes it's like until you do it, you don't really know how you feel about it. So it is
True.
hard to be like, no, I want to be a brain surgeon. And then you're in a brain surgery and you're like, oh my God, never mind. Like, I didn't realize there were all these other things. So I
Mhm.
I do get that. But 25% leaving after they've been licensed within a year to me speaks more to the systems at play, or I think has to, because like, the nature of the job at that point. It took 3,000 hours to get licensed. So, like, you clearly,
Oh, I see what you're doing.
right? So it's like in my mind, that feels more like burnout.
Yeah.
Not that sometimes they don't get their license because of burnout, but I think it could be many, many things. This feels more like if you went through all the effort and you got licensed, for a quarter of those people within 1 year to be like, I'm good, is like, that's so sad to me. Like, maybe that's another point, and I think we've mentioned this in a previous episode, but I'm going to reiterate it. I really hope if someone has a therapist they really like and they're at some like clinic or like one of these community spaces or they work for a company, if that person leaves, I really, really hope you don't take it personally as a client. Because
Mm,
again, I mean, obviously, people there's a way. See, and I don't even want to say there's a way like maybe to properly transition out because some companies won't let you.
okay.
And so sometimes there's no way to really know. I think if it's like, well, I would have thought that they would have reached out to me, or like, I know I've worked for places or have friends that worked for places that they won't even allow you to see any of the client's info, like their email or their, and so like if like messaging might only be happening through a portal that you're actually not allowed to like tell them you're transitioning out or anything on.
Yeah.
So I think just please take, if these things happen to you, sometimes it's totally on the therapist, I bet. I don't mean it like that. But I really do think a lot of these times it might make a client feel like, whoa, like, why did this happen? Or why didn't they communicate with me? And I just don't think all the time that they can. And I truly think some people are trying until they crash the fuck out because that's the kind of people that tend to get into this job. And so it might be that they just pushed themselves for so long that they did it until they literally broke. And so, like, they didn't have the ability to be like, hey, I'm leaving in a month because they're like, I should have left 5 months ago and I'm freaking out. And
Mhm.
so it just give them a little bit of grace if you can. Cause I also understand how that's frustrating as a client, but these places do not always make it sustainable for therapists to stay. And to be honest, they're making so much freaking money that they don't even care that the turnover is crazy. Like it'll never be enough to treat a therapist good enough. I think the good places I've heard of feel still like they treat people kind of mediocre. And that's
Mm,
like, all right, better than others. Like it's really, really sad. So I think this is just me and Danny's like PSA to clients and people that use these services or community resources. But then also, yeah, are like thanks and just like, holy shit, wow, to the people that have been like working at hospitals for years
for sure.
or like just all these different kinds of places, social workers that I mean choose to like work in a lot of these settings blow my mind. I'm like, I could never. Or just like, oh my God, like what they're put through for years and years. I've met so many people that work for nonprofits that I'm like, I'm sorry, what? You put up with this for more than like 2 months? Like, what are you talking about? And they've been there for years. We need people to help, but also I really hope you're also taking care of yourself. It just makes me so sad. We have 2 people, I know 2 this year that they hardly got done with grad school and they're not making it. They're going back to like for nursing or something. Like they can't. It's this field shoot them up and spit them out and they're doing not good.
Yeah, I
And
I
I'm like,
actually
oh
really appreciate that, like, perspective that you gave because, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's not as if people don't understand the work or how much it takes to be a therapist. I don't think it's that. I like what you said because it's 1 year after licensure is what you said, right?
yeah. That's what
After
the
the
National
3,000
Institute of
hours.
Health said.
Yeah, after the 3,000 hours, after you've already been working for these places, you've had this promise that now you're licensed, your pay rate's gonna go up, you're gonna be able to have this position, you're gonna be given these opportunities, and then they find out that there are so many things that they have to do to maintain that standard that it's like, yo, it really isn't worth it. I got into this field because I believe in health and I want people to take care of themselves, and I can't even do it. And so, yeah, that was a very sobering fact. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's just sad. Like,
It is.
not that surprised, but it's like, I just wish, I don't know. Is there anyone out there that can help? Anyone out there that can kind of either, I don't know, pay therapists slightly more, give them legitimate vacation, not make them work their ass off and be stressed every month just to keep their medical care? That'd be cool. Truly, that's like a part of the reason why I would love to open a group practice. I think in my head, you know me, I love projects. I love finding random shit to do. If that seems like the natural progression of something that I could do next, I would love it. And it's like every time I've looked into it, it's just like dead end after dead end after dead end, or people just being like, A, you're not going to make a lot. And even with that being said, these people are not going to make a lot. It's like, because I don't feel like there's any ethical or sustainable way to do it and hire people and make sure that like they're well taken care of and like you're doing okay.
Mhm.
It's like, okay, well, never mind then, I
Yeah.
guess. I won't be doing that. So it's just sad. It feels like such a lose lose. It feels like even when people want to help, it's just they're almost making these laws and rules that are like impossible for us to help people. At this point, with the laws for supervising, I swear you lose money. And it's like, you can't do that when you live in Southern California or the Bay Area. Sorry. Like, my husband's not some giant tech CEO. I can't do that. So
Yeah.
it just makes me sad. But I think it's important that people know these things because they don't, or a lot of people don't, or I don't know. I really want to hope that's why we see those comments of people that are like, I just got licensed. Why am I not full? When is this going to be awesome and I'm going to be thriving and making a bajillion dollars? It's like, I wish, I hope that that's out of ignorance. And then also, it's like people should not get to that point and still be that ignorant. Like,
Yeah.
that's sad. You should know going into this the outlook and the systems at play and what to expect realistically. And it might be kind of depressing, but sorry, it is what it is.
Yeah. Cool. Great. So, if y'all work for companies, my hat's off to you.
Yeah, you guys are amazing. Tell us how you do it. I don't understand. Send us an email.
Send us an email.
We love those emails. Send us an email.
All
Danny,
right,
this was
Ollie.
good. This was a good one. Nice. I love this leading into the holidays.
Cool. So, I'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye bye.